If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns find themselves at a critical crossroads, one that could redefine the franchise. For the next decade, training camp is underway, but rather than confidence and cohesion, there's a feeling of unease hanging over Bria. It's not just about who wins the quarterback competition though that's the headline, but rather, the Browns are quietly bracing for a potentially seismic shift at the very top. Reports from FS1's Colin Cowherd have added fuel to this fire, suggesting that Cleveland might be on the verge of making a massive move, one that could see not only a new quarterback entering the building next season, but also a legendary head coach for a franchise that's been stuck in a cycle of mediocrity and unmet expectations. Such a move could either be their salvation or just another chapter in a long saga of failure. Browns fans have heard promises before, but this time the rumors are louder and backed by power players. Right now, Kevin Stefanski and his staff are doing everything they can to salvage what could be their final year in Cleveland. The pressure to win and win now is heavier than ever, especially with the lack of a clear identity on offense. Outside of Jerry Jeudy, the Browns' offensive arsenal is a mix of unproven talent and underwhelming production. The quarterback position, in particular, is an unstable situation. With no franchise QB locked in, whoever gets the nod in Week 1 may be nothing more than a placeholder, a stopgap until a bigger name comes along. And that's where the drama intensifies, according to Cowherd. The Browns could be looking to pull off one of the most ambitious double plays in recent NFL history. Land Arch Manning in the draft and bring Nick Saban out of retirement or college ranks to mentor him. That kind of move isn't just about football, it's about legacy, power, and rewriting the Browns' narrative entirely. Cowherd's claims may seem sensational, but when you look at the names involved, it's hard not to take notice. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, reportedly has close ties to some of the most influential figures in football. That inner circle includes the Manning family, famed agent Jimmy Sexton, and coaching legend Bill Parcells. It's not just gossip, it's a power web. Sexton represents Nick Saban, and the Mannings are grooming Arch Manning as the next NFL star. The suggestion here is that Haslam might be using those connections to orchestrate a masterstroke. Lure Saban with the opportunity to coach a generational talent like Manning. It's a move that would rock the league. It would also mark a clean slate for a franchise desperate to finally shake off its losing culture. But bold plans like this only materialize when seasons fall apart, and Cleveland seems headed toward that very scenario. If this season goes the way many are predicting, a mix of inconsistency and disappointment, the Haslam family may waste no time tearing it all down. Kevin Stefanski's seat isn't just hot, it's smoldering. And while he's proven capable in the past, including a Coach of the Year award, his grip on the locker room and his ability to develop a quarterback have come into question. Now, faced with yet another high-stakes quarterback decision, Stefanski must choose wisely. Pick the wrong guy to start Week 1, and the whole house could come crumbling down. That quarterback, be it a veteran journeyman or an untested youngster, will need to overperform against the odds, because if he doesn't, it won't just be his future in jeopardy, it'll be Stefanski's too. And with big names like Arch Manning and Nick Saban lurking in the background, the clock is ticking faster than ever. The Browns roster isn't devoid of talent, but it's certainly thin outside of the defensive front seven. Myles Garrett continues to anchor that group, and there's optimism on that side of the ball. But defense alone can't win you games in today's NFL, especially not when your offense can't stay on the field. Jerry Jeudy gives them a playmaker, but he can't do it all himself. There are too many question marks at running back, tight end, and on the offensive line to expect fireworks. That's what makes the quarterback decision even more crucial. It's not just about who can make throws, it's about who can survive behind this offensive line, manage the offense, and keep morale high. And in this environment, survival isn't just about stats, it's about perception. Can this QB give the fanbase hope? Can he calm the storm surrounding Stefanski's job? Can he hold off the specter of Arch Manning? Of course, much of this hinges on how the 2025 quarterback class shapes up, and all signs point to it being one of the most stacked in recent memory. Arch Manning, already carrying the weight of his family name, headlines that group. He's been groomed for the NFL spotlight since high school, and scouts believe he could be the kind of player who alters a franchise's direction instantly. For teams like the Browns, who might find themselves picking in the top 5 again, he's more than just a prospect, he's a beacon of hope. And if Jimmy Haslam can package Manning with Saban, it would be a cultural reset. It's a gamble. Sure, but sometimes the biggest wins come from the boldest plays. And Cleveland's tired of playing it safe. If this year spirals out of control, don't be surprised to see Haslam push all his chips to the center of the table. What's so fascinating about Cowherd's report is how specific the dots are that he connects. This isn't just speculation pulled from thin air. It's rooted in relationships, power brokers, and long-standing football dynasties. The Manning family trusts Haslam, Sexton, who represents both Saban and a multitude of NFL heavyweights. Isn't Haslam's ear? The infrastructure for a Saban-Manning pairing isn't just possible, it's plausible. And if Saban ever had an itch to prove himself in the NFL one more time, this might be his best shot, coaching a prodigy he trusts for an owner he respects. In a franchise desperate for change, that's a tempting offer. Saban has nothing left to prove in college, but the NFL remains his white whale. For years he's turned down interest. But with the right player, the right city, and the right pitch, maybe, just maybe, he says yes this time. Meanwhile, the current Browns locker room has to tune out this noise and focus on the grind of training camp. That's easier said than done, of course. Players and coaches read the headlines. They hear the chatter for veterans trying to compete and young players trying to earn a roster spot. Uncertainty breeds distraction. That's why Stefanski has to establish clarity early, pick a quarterback, build an identity, empower his leaders. It won't fix all their problems, but it might help them weather the storm. Because if they falter early, every loss will be viewed through the lens of when will Haslam pull the plug. Fair or not, that's the reality. This season could be their last stand. And if they want to keep the Manning-Saban scenario in the realm of fantasy, they'll have to win more games than anyone's predicting. In Cleveland, hope is scarce, but desperation is in surplus. Ultimately, whether or not Arch Manning ends up in a Browns uniform, or Nick Saban paces Cleveland's sideline next year, this story reflects something bigger: the Browns' hunger for relevance. For too long, they've been the NFL's cautionary tale, a team with loyal fans, great tradition, but little to show for it in the modern era. This offseason feels different because it's not about just patching holes. It's about detonating the whole thing if it doesn't work. That kind of pressure either creates diamonds or causes implosions. Jimmy Haslam has tried patience. He's tried big trades. He's tried culture changes, but nothing has stuck. If this year's team flames out, we could see the most aggressive pivot in franchise history. And while it sounds dramatic, maybe that's what Cleveland needs. One last gamble, one generational quarterback, one iconic coach, and a shot finally at football salvation. So here we are, just months away from kickoff, and the Browns' entire future feels like it's teetering on a knife's edge. Will Kevin Stefanski make the right call at quarterback and lead this team to respectability, or will a season of underachievement open the door for a revolution? Arch Manning isn't just a prospect, he's a promise of something new. Nick Saban isn't just a name, he's a culture changer. And Jimmy Haslam isn't just an owner, he's a man running out of patience. For now, all eyes remain on training camp, where a battle for QB1 wages on, perhaps in vain, because behind the scenes, the real moves might already be in motion. If Cleveland stumbles, don't be shocked when the Haslam machine activates its plan B. And when it does, the Browns could go from NFL afterthought to the most talked about team in the league overnight. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The NFL world is buzzing, and if the whispers coming out of Cleveland are true, the Browns have just thrown a massive wrench into the quarterback landscape. Rumor has it that the Browns have inked a surprise deal with none other than Russell Wilson, a move that absolutely nobody saw coming. The veteran QB, who had a turbulent stint in Denver, is now reportedly suiting up in the orange and brown, sparking what insiders are already calling the most electrifying quarterback battle of the year. Deshaun Watson, who was supposed to be the unquestioned starter and face of the franchise, suddenly finds himself in unfamiliar territory, a real high-stakes competition for the starting job. This isn't just about playing time, it's about legacy, redemption, and proving who deserves to lead a team with genuine playoff ambitions. Browns fans are stunned. The NFL is watching, and the stage is set for a drama unlike anything we've seen in years. Let's be honest, Russell Wilson's journey has been a roller coaster. From Super Bowl champion with the Seahawks to a disappointing and criticized tenure with the Broncos, many thought his days as a starter were numbered. But if This rumored deal with the Browns is real. Wilson may have just found his golden opportunity for redemption. Cleveland, with its hard-nosed defense, emerging weapons, and playoff-caliber roster, could be the perfect environment for a veteran quarterback hungry to prove the doubters wrong. And let's not forget, Wilson thrives when he's underestimated. The idea of him walking into training camp with a chip on his shoulder, going throw for throw with Deshaun Watson, is the kind of sports drama networks dream about. It's not just a comeback story, it's a clash of styles, egos, and narratives that could define both players' careers. The Browns may have quietly set the NFL on fire with this unexpected quarterback. Shake-up.Deshaun Watson, for his part, isn't likely to take this lightly. After everything the Browns invested in him both financially and reputationally, he was meant to be their franchise cornerstone, and now, just when it seemed like he was finally turning the corner after a rocky return to football, the team might be hedging its bets with a seasoned vet like Wilson. That's not just competition, that's a message. Whether it's about pushing Watson to elevate his game or preparing for a contingency plan, the optics are undeniable. Watson's arm talent and athleticism are still elite, but the rust from his suspension and subsequent injuries has yet to fully wear off. If the Browns don't believe he's the guy, then bringing in Wilson is the kind of high-stakes gamble that could either pay off big or blow up in their faces. And for Watson, it's time to prove once and for all that he's still among the NFL's elite. What makes this potential QB battle even more fascinating is the contrast between the two players, not just in play style, but in personality, leadership, and how they're perceived across the league. Wilson is known for his polished public image, intense work ethic, and almost robotic positivity. Watson, on the other hand, carries a more complicated legacy, marked by flashes of brilliance on the field and controversies off it. Their approach to the game is different, and so is the way teammates, coaches, and fans connect with them. Having both of them in the same locker room is a recipe for intrigue, if not tension. How will Kevin Stefanski manage the egos? How will the locker room divide or unite around this unexpected twist? And most importantly, who will rise to the occasion when it matters most? These aren't just hypotheticals. They're the kind of questions that could define the Browns' 2025 season and beyond. From a strategic perspective, this rumored signing makes a lot more sense than it appears at first glance. Cleveland's front office knows they have a championship-level defense and a strong supporting cast on offense. But quarterback uncertainty has been their Achilles heel for years. By potentially adding Wilson, they insulate themselves against further disappointment while simultaneously igniting a competitive fire under Watson. It's the ultimate win-win scenario if it works. And that's a big if. The Browns have rolled the dice before, most notably with the controversial Watson acquisition. And they know better than anyone how quickly a promising season can unravel with the wrong quarterback play. Wilson gives them insurance, experience, and maybe even a spark that Watson has yet to consistently provide. But this move could also fracture team chemistry if not handled delicately. One thing's for sure, training camp in Bria just became must-see entertainment for every NFL fan. The fan reaction has been predictably explosive. Browns fans, already divided over the Watson trade, now find themselves torn again. Some are thrilled by the idea of Russell Wilson donning Cleveland colors, especially those who remain skeptical of Watson's ability to return to Pro Bowl form. Others see this as a betrayal, another sign that the franchise lacks confidence in the quarterback it paid so heavily for. Social media is ablaze with speculation, mock lineups, and debates about who should get the Week 1 start. The local media is having a field day, dissecting every possible scenario, every tweet, and every facial expression from the team's facility. And the national pundits, they're loving it. Cleveland has suddenly become ground zero for one of the NFL's most compelling storylines, and the implications stretch far beyond Ohio. This is no longer just about the Browns. This is about the entire league's quarterback hierarchy being challenged in real time. There's also the money factor. If Wilson has indeed signed with the Browns, what kind of deal did he accept? After his release from Denver, many assumed Wilson would have to take a backup role or a bargain contract just to stay in the league. Did the Browns offer him real money, or is this a low-risk, incentive-laden contract that keeps their cap flexibility intact? The details matter, especially considering Watson's fully guaranteed mega deal. If Wilson came cheap, then this could be a masterstroke by the Browns front office. If not, it's a huge gamble on a player who hasn't looked like his old self in years. Either way, this move is sending shockwaves through NFL front offices. many of whom may be wondering if they missed an opportunity, or if Cleveland is about to learn a very expensive lesson. One thing is clear: money, ego, and legacy are all on the line in this brewing quarterback saga. Don't underestimate what this means for the AFC North either. The division is already a war zone with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, and a retooled Steelers squad hungry to return to dominance. The Browns, often considered the wild card of the division, may have just upgraded or at least complicated the most important position in football. Watson-Wilson competition could sharpen both players or leave the team in a state of constant flux. Either way, it changes the calculus for every other team in the division. Defensive coordinators are now preparing for the totally different styles of quarterback play. Opponents are forced to guess: will it be the dual-threat dynamism of Watson, or the savvy, deep ball artistry of Wilson? The ambiguity alone gives Cleveland a tactical edge if they play their cards right. But in a division this brutal, any sign of indecision or locker room strife could be the difference between a playoff berth and another disappointing finish. Let's not forget the human side of all this. Russell Wilson isn't just trying to win games, he's trying to rewrite the final chapter of his NFL legacy. And Deshaun Watson, he's still trying to prove that he's worth the massive gamble Cleveland took on him. For both players, this is personal. It's not just about being QB1, it's about validation, redemption, and respect. Training camp battles are often framed as football decisions, but this one carries emotional weight. Fans will pick sides, the media will stir the pot, and every throw in practice will be analyzed like a game-winning drive. It's the kind of environment that can either forge a champion or expose cracks that can't be fixed. For Wilson, this could be his last real shot. For Watson, it might be his final chance to silence the critics. And for the Browns, it might just be the start of something unforgettable or unforgivable. As we wait for official confirmation, one thing is certain: the Cleveland Browns have become the epicenter of NFL speculation. Whether this rumored signing of Russell Wilson turns out to be true or just a smokescreen, the conversation it has ignited isn't going away anytime soon. The idea alone has breathed new life and new controversy into a franchise perpetually searching for consistency at the game's most important position. And in a league where perception often matters as much as performance, this quarterback battle could reshape how the Browns are viewed by fans, media, and even opposing players. Every pass, every interview, every whisper from the locker room will feed the fire. Whether it's Watson or Wilson taking that first snap in Week 1, the Browns have guaranteed one thing: all eyes are on Cleveland. And in the world of professional football, attention, especially this kind of attention, is a currency more powerful than any contract. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!